Hey, what's going on, guys? Daniel here. As we were discussing there a little bit earlier, let me fix this here. As we were discussing there in that post, we commit crimes against our family and we don't even realize it, right? We get so busy in business. We're constantly building and building and building, and things they get neglected, they fall to the wayside, they fall short, they fall apart, because it's like this, right? Over here, we got our journey. We're going from salesperson to entrepreneur, right? Well, we're building, usually from a place of fear and scarcity. If I can remember how to spell, that would be great, right? So we got fear, scarcity over here. We're building. Next thing you know, we kind of top out a little bit. Things start burning to the ground. So we go through kind of like a build and burn phase, right? Bloody ridiculous. It's hard on us. It's hard on our families, on our spouses, on our kids, on the people in our life. We hit that point throughout the month where it's like, oh crap, bills got to get paid. This has got to get done. We're always in hustle mode. We're always glued to our phones. We're always taking our attention isn't fully invested and committed into our families and our personal lives and the stuff that we need. And this is why I stress like automation and stuff as much as possible. Is going through this fear and scarcity, this build and burn, 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 build and burn. It's not sustainable. It's not. And eventually we hit a point. We got this gap right here. We got to cross this gap right here. It's like I want to be in business for myself. I want to start my own thing. I want to get something up, running, going. I want to become an entrepreneur. And we think that'll solve our problems. It doesn't. Makes things worse. We have higher highs and lower lows. Higher highs and lower lows. Well, how do we go about averaging that out? How do we go about knocking that off, taking that off? We got things like automation, bots, we got dollars, we got autoresponders. We got so many different things. We can say, people, other people, we can leverage other people's time, hire people to do a lot of this stuff for us. What's going on, Jeremy? We can hire a lot of people to do that kind of stuff. But eventually, we still haven't quite figured that out yet. We still haven't quite clued in on how to bridge that gap, right? We're still seeing these highs. We're still seeing these lows. It's not consistent. It's not predictable. We're still building and burning, burning. We need infrastructure. We need processes. So we start looking on, again, bridging this gap, right? We've got this gap right here, and we've got to go out and we've got to bridge it. That turns us into, well, some people don't like the big old fancy C titles. CEO, you can call it principal, you can call it founder, you can call it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, business owner, right? I would put BO up there, but then, people might be thinking body odor. So I'll leave that out of there for a bit for now. But yeah, so over here, and this is where you start leveraging things like technology, resources. Everything just kind of starts clicking, right? It's how can I best leverage and utilize my time? Because I'll tell you what, there's only so much building and burning that you can go through before your family just gets sick of it. It's hard. And then one of two things will happen. We either get beaten down into submission. We say, okay, I just can't do it anymore. I'm going to go back to working for somebody else. I'm going to go back to being an employee, a salesperson, whatever the case may be. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Like it's not for everybody. The life's not for everybody. Not everybody's going to make it. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But it's not easy. So not everybody's doing it. So you get over to the CEO part. You start utilizing technology. You start dumping more money into your business. You start looking at concepts like, what's my cost per acquisition? People are always asking me what's the cost per lead? How many leads can I expect? Click-through rates, blah, 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 blah. It don't freaking matter. Those details don't. That's my end of the bargain. I could bring you all of the leads. I could bring you all of the people to talk to. And that only goes so far as the ability, your ability or your staff's ability to close. If you're not converting those leads into paying clients, there's an issue. That's not an us problem. That's a you problem at the end of the day. So you got to look at the cost per acquisition. Cost per acquisition is taking those steps. Okay, yeah, you got your cost. How much money are you spending in total to acquire that client? That's the metric that matters at the end of the day. How much are you willing to pay and how much are you paying? If you're willing to pay $1,700 to acquire a client, at first you're paying $2,500 to acquire a client, great. There's a gap there. How do we bridge that gap and bring that cost per acquisition down? Bring those other costs down. What do we need to do to bring the skill set up so that you or your team are closing more, you're getting more done, you're being more efficient? Maybe the cost per acquisition, maybe what you want to spend is out to lunch in your industry. Maybe it's not feasible. Maybe it's not possible. Maybe underestimated. Got to go back to the drawing board and recalculate that number. But at the end of the day, it's really about the cost per acquisition. And even then on the front end of your marketing, really the main concern is making your money back. At the end, the real profit comes in. The real profit comes in on the back end, right? You're going, your marketing is here, you make your money back here. Now this is where, after this point right here, that's where you start seeing the profits, right? Not everybody's going to be ready to convert, not everybody's going to be ready to make a decision when they enter the sales funnel. So that long-term follow-up is key. And the more people that you can keep in your pipeline, the more you can keep nurturing and following up with them, the cheaper your costs are going to get. The cheaper your cost per acquisition is going to get. Like it's all relative, right? And like as an entrepreneur, as a salesperson, we often don't understand that. We're so stuck in the scarcity mindset. We're so stuck in it living in fear, wondering how ends are going to meet, what's going to happen at the end of the day. It's not a fun place, but we all got to go through that. We all got to go through that work to get to where we want to be. You follow me so far? So the CEO understands it. The CEO understands that I got to start throwing money out there. I got to focus on the cost per acquisition. I got to focus on what I can do to retain people. I got to focus on automation. The more that I can do to remove myself from working in my business and put myself to working on my business, taking that 30,000 foot view, looking down, tinkering, playing, making adjustments, course correcting, becoming more efficient. Efficiency is key. You're only as efficient as the infrastructure and the technology that you've deployed within your business. People are like this. People are build and burn, build and burn, build and burn, build and burn. Boom and bust, boom and bust, boom and bust. We take sick days. We need time off. There's a death in the family. There's all sorts of things. We're not always on our A+ game. We're always showing up. We're always giving it our all. But we can't be 24/7, 100%. Technology is. As long as there's money being put into it, it's working 24/7, 365. It doesn't care. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't have labor laws. It's just going and going and going and going and going. The more you put in, the more you get out, right? Everybody thinks of ROI as return on investment. What's the return for the investment that I'm going to be getting? Well, it's also return on involvement. The more involved that you are, the more that you're monitoring everything, the more efficient that you can become. You can start spotting the holes. You can start spotting the gaps, and you can start filling them in. And you can start crossing the bridges. You can start crossing the gaps. You can have that better life. You can build that better life at the end of the day. And then investors, where you got money and you paying homage to the humble roots, right? You can help you can start lifting these people up. You're an entrepreneur, you can start lifting up the salespeople up. You become a business owner, you can start lifting up the salespeople and the entrepreneurs. You become an investor, you've gone through the ropes, you can start coaching, you can start mentoring, you can start giving back. You can start giving back at any point. Any point through there, you can start giving back. And the more that you start giving back, the more you start putting in, the more you start putting out there, the more things are just going to come back to you. That's it. That's all for today. Cheers, guys.